For years, I thought failure was simple. You either succeeded or you failed. Success was good, failure was bad, black and white, end of story. Hi, I'm Coach Dan Williams with Character Advantage. I've been an athlete, I'm a coach, and I'm the parent of a college athlete. I've spent significant portions of my life grappling with the concept of failure. In life, you stumble, you fail, and suddenly you realize it's not that simple. And I have to admit that in sport, I associate losing with failure. The Cambridge Dictionary defines failure as the fact of someone or something not succeeding. In other words, we have defined failure as the opposite of success. Life is full of losing scenarios, such as I age, my metabolism is slowing down, so I need to adjust my diet. At work, my coworkers get sidetracked and don't follow through on a task that had an urgent due date, so the project wasn't delivered on time. And in life, sometimes I see the need that I can meet in the community, but it requires giving up a resource I have plans to use for rewarding myself. All of these scenarios have a losing element. I realized a few years ago that success was important, but not my ultimate goal. Significance was, legacy was, the good that I could do as a result of my efforts was. Time is limited. In fact, in the Character Advantage framework, time is the x-axis of our lives, the steady march forward that none of us can slow down or reclaim. On the y-axis is potential, but potential doesn't just appear. It's fueled by three things: passion, truth, and purpose. Passion gives you energy to persist. Truth keeps you grounded in reality. Purpose gives you clarity for why you strive. Together, time and potential create the field where growth is measured. Now, here's the challenge. Because time is limited, it creates pressure, urgency, and focus. That pressure can either paralyze or sharpen you. It all depends on how you leverage time to maximize your potential. For example, my daughter's team recently lost their second conference game. She is a senior. This is her final season. They need to place in the top 4 in their conference to make the playoffs. They are currently 0-2 in conference play and next to last in their conference. The season is descending in a downward trajectory and it doesn't look good. It's easy to get caught up in the scoreboard. After the game, all I could talk about was how we should have won the game. I was very negative. But this type of thinking is oriented towards looking back into the past. I have to reorient my thinking toward the future. And here's where the journey gets real. Growth is never a straight line. Sometimes you're climbing, sometimes you're descending, and sometimes you're plateauing. But here's the key. Every one of those phases is a growth gap. They aren't failures, they're invitations. Every climb, every descent, every plateau is a chance to grow your character. These are the red dots on your life's graph, the moments where pressure meets opportunity. And when you choose humility, gratitude, and love in those moments, you come out stronger. Because in the end, the scoreboard is temporary, but the character you build in the growth gaps, that endures forever. Significance is so much more powerful in orientation than simply focusing on success. My daughter's team will need to find some success for sure. However, I've saw indicators in their last game that suggest the team is moving in the right direction. Leadership, ownership, and accountability were all displayed. They were pushing each other outside their comfort zones. This is the fruit of an orientation towards significance. Now, I must decide how I'm going to deal with my character growth gap. Do I focus on climbing or continue to descend? Stay tuned. I'll let you know how I do and what I learn in the process. Meanwhile, hit that like button, join the channel. Let's change the trajectory of our growth together and rediscover our joy.